If a person jumps up and down over and over and over again, hundreds and hundreds of times, if you add up all the space of that jump that he does, it could equal even to 1 kilometer, 2 kilometers. But when you look at where he ends up in the same spot. Nothing changed, nothing new, same old thing. As opposed to an incredible phenomenon that we've been witness to is this idea of a spaceship, or a space shuttle, a rocket ship, that it is able to get and even land to the moon. What's incredible about a rocket ship is that it never has enough fuel to be able to get to the moon. That's very distant. It's 3 days of traveling. How does it do it? The answer is it has a heap of over 300 short tons of fuel inside of a certain fuel tank, and it is able to pull itself out using what we call thrust to get itself out of the atmosphere. How fast does it go when it gets out of the atmosphere and it breaks the atmosphere? As fast as it was when it left the atmosphere. In other words, what matters is those first initial 8 seconds when that rocket is able to shoot out of this world and go into Shamayim, go out into the galaxies, go out outside of the atmosphere. It takes a full 8 seconds to do it, and it uses up an incredible amount of fuel. But once it does it, it doesn't need any more fuel because it's working purely on inertia until or it circles around the room, or that it finally gets to the moon, or it's able to get to the moon, or it circles around a number of times, and then it will eventually come back. So from here we see an incredible idea that a person who jumps up and down just ends up in the same place. But when he has an initial push, an original blast, it took a lot of energy, a lot of fuel, a lot of money, and a lot of power. But when he does it, he can get himself out of this world. He can pull himself to places where he could have never thought that he would be able to get to. That's an incredible musar, and this mashal, Rav Pinkus tells us to explain the yesod of a nazir. The nazir is called a nezer Hashem. He's considered the keter, the crown. Nazir is from lashon nezer, of a crown. And the reason why is because the body is made up of 9 of the sfirot, and the 10th, which is keter, is unusual because number 10 is out of the body. A keter, a crown, has nothing to do with the body. It represents the power of the king by having this crown on top of him. It's a separate entity which is above. So keter is something that's way above, we don't discuss. 9 is a number we can fathom. 10 is a number that takes 9 and makes it into a unit. It makes it into one unit. 9 are individual, and 10 is a whole. That's why you always have a minion with 10. That's why we have a Serta Dibrot and other ideas of 10, because the idea of 10 is always not a number in and of itself. It takes the individuals and puts it into one big whole. That's the power of the number 10, and that's the power of the Nazir, of Nezer, who's Keter, that's the 10th Sphira. That is the highest of the high, because he has this incredible koch which is given to him, and you ask, where does it come from? He took on a few things, he pushed himself out. He did something, he left his comfort zone, he said, I'm going to try my best and do something which he didn't think he would be able to get as far as he can, but because that is called a Kadosh Hashem. Sometimes we just have to make a push, get ourselves in a place which I didn't think I would be able to do, but when you make that extra push, you can blast out of this atmosphere and get to the farthest places in space which you would have never thought that you would be able to get to. Shabbat Shalom.